This video is in its history of itself because this video is going to be out in January, and I think this is like the 20th of December. And this came, how long ago? Probably about 2-3 weeks ago. But this is going to be a new video for January. So your first like build. So, well actually, it's going to be talking about the case first, and then the second video is going to be about putting everything together. So, this is the Versa J24 TG ARGB. Now this is all RGB, so you can sync with all motherboards that have got RGB. So that'd be ASRock, MSI, Asus and Gigabyte. They got you all covered with Thermaltake. So let's get this out of the box straight away with a nice little unboxing. I don't know, actually I don't, well it's January, why don't we just do, well it's not January, it's December at the moment, but it's going to be the future. This is going to be in the future for you guys. I can't even open this up. This is how you don't do an unboxing. Alright. We don't need that. Ah, electric shock. I hate that. Got this upside down. Take that off. I don't want to get electric shock again. Oh, it's fine. That's cool. Excellent. Right. So far, this is like it's a medium-sized case, so it's pretty cool. I like this. It's quite cute. You just saw the back. Anyway, let's talk in depth about it, because afterwards I'm going to be putting a build in part 2. So let's just undo it all. So first off, we've got plastic thumb screws with a Phillips end. And this is for the glass, so it slides out. So a little bit more unique, a sliding version with tempered glass on the front. And the tempered glass, that looks about 15 to 20% in darkness. So when you've got your RGBs lit up inside, it will give it more of that jelly sort of look. So imagine you've got jelly with different colours, like RGB colours, and then you've got light shining through it. It gives it a little more of a darker, like more punchier grade. It looks nice. That's how I like it. Anyway, I'll put this to the side. It's got like metal grooves. It's pretty solid and stuff. Anyway, they got you covered. They give you a 120mm fan at the back, and a 120mm fan at the back, it's only got like half of a centimetre of moving up and down if you have to maneuver cables on the motherboard to like get the orientation in there. We also got 7 expansion slots, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and these have all got screws. So I think these are Phillips screws, and they are Phillips screws on there. And then it also has a bracket as well, which has got 2 screws. You pull that off, and then you can use a long screwdriver that's quite thin, and then undo the PCI bracket. Then we've got a nice opening out for the actual power supply unit right there. But let's talk about inside the actual case itself. So we've got all this stuff here, and this is your manual of how to assemble your computer, as well as all your screws and everything that you're going to need. And then I've noticed that they've got all the cables here as well, and they were so close. They were so close. And I say this is because we've got one spaghetti junction cable here, which is the HD audio, which you're going to need to obviously plug into the USB header on your motherboard. But they've got nice USB 3 cable here, which is really nicely braided, well not braided, but covered over and sleeved better than what that is. And then we've got the front headers as well, they're nicely sleeved. And then we've got SATA power, which is nicely sleeved, and it's a flat cable. Would be nice to see a flat cable for this as well. But this is nice because we don't have to deal with Molex. And then we've got a nice big cutout hole as well to put a retention bracket on for CPU air cooling or AIO water cooling, so that's all in one liquid cooling solution. We also have 2 USB brackets here, and I'm going to have to get myself a screwdriver to undo these brackets. But it looks like they're nice little plates, really easy to assemble to put your SSDs on. So it's kind of a tallish case as well, as it's been a medium system. It looks kind of squashed in, and that's pretty decent. It's got a nice little cutout as well. So if you're going to use a power supply that's got any animation on, especially if it's CES in January sometime, That means that they might be bringing out power supplies with LEDs on the side, or it might just be still with the little wrapper on the side that says whatever your name brand is. It will look pretty cool. Thermaltake's probably got you covered anyway on that. So I've got my screwdriver. I'm using a flathead at the moment. So this screwdriver, these screws can also be used with Phillips heads or a big flathead, which I've got here. So I can undo these, no problem whatsoever. And these are what they call captive screws that don't go anywhere. No, they're not actually captive screws, but they're longer than normal. They're kind of like captive screws, but captive screws have got a little ball on the end and stops it from coming out, but you can still undo it as well. But these are longer. So you've got that much space there to obviously just put the SSD. It would be nice that you can place them anywhere. Because depending on the cables, it's going to look kind of rough, but we're going to be showing you that in part 2. Anyway, we've got all the standoffs right here as well, but we haven't got a standoff that holds the motherboard at all. But we've got a 120mm fan, as I said before, which is black, and then we've got 3 on the front, which are RGB, which I'm going to take off the front. Hopefully it's not too hard, and that is very simple to get off the front. I'm really happy with that. So we've got a filter on the front here, which is a soft foamy filter. You can get this out and clean it or change it. And it's got these metal flat bits that stay flat to the bed of the actual front of the case. Now just undo them, and then you can pull them out, the filter, and change it. So there's no problem whatsoever. And so cool air will be breathing through because it's nice and opened out, which I like to see on a very budget orientated case. It's not too bad with obviously RGB. It's plastic obviously, but yeah, I think it still looks pretty cool. I think the front's actually metal. The front's metal, so it's not even plastic. So the front's metal, and you can literally just take that out and clean that as well if you choose to do so, which it would be good to choose to do so because you need to keep your computer clean obviously. And then you've got 3 120mm fans at the front there, so these are nice RGB fans. These are going to be quite cool. And anyway, talk about RGB. We do have a power and reset button. So power's on that side, resets on this side. 2 USB 3s, a microphone jack, headphone jack, and a LED indicator. And I think, is that another LED indicator? I'm sure that is, but we'll take a look at that in part 2. And on the top as well, we do have a filter as well, and it's magnetic, and it can fit a 240 on the top here. It looks like you can fit a 280 as well. So 280 and a 240 at the top, or 140 or a 120 at the top there. And on the back, you could definitely fit a 120 radiator in the back there. And also on the front, you could fit a 360 or a 280 or a 240. It should be. Yep, on the back there, no problem. Underneath, let's talk about the back. I haven't even got the screws under the back yet. So same thumb screw initiation, or installation I should say. Flex test. It's decent. There's galvanised paint inside there. Looks like a good paint job as well. So that's alright. Put that down here. And where you can see is like an RGB fan controller there, a reset button there. An LED connector as well, so you can sync stuff up. This is pretty cool. So this is where you'll connect your power to give it to this little PCB board, and then you'll plug, well, your RGB fans are plugged in anyway, and then you'll have control of your RGBs. But obviously in part 2 we'll show you that. Finger width room for cable management, and we've got some cable standoffs. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 of them. That is pretty mad for a budget orientated case. That's not too bad. As well, plastic hard drive for your 3.5 inch mechanical hard drives, or 2.5 inch mechanical hard drives, or for 2 SSDs. Mechanical SSDs are not mechanical. SSDs are actually with no moving parts. So what I mean is 2.5 inch SSDs, or 2.5 inch mechanical hard drives, or 3.5 inch mechanical hard drives. Anyway, so you've got a plate there, and it looks like you can remove it as well with 4 screws underneath. And talk about underneath, we do also have a filter for the power supply that I can't get my hands on properly. There we go, kind of. And it's just a square, so just be careful of the edges. They're not like terribly sharp, but they're sharp enough. and you could just literally wipe away, clean that, and stick it back underneath the power supply. The power supply has got enough room in there for a normal medium to not large power supply, but a decent size. So I'll talk about more like 850 watts I'll put underneath here, no more, because obviously it starts to get longer, and then the cables and stuff. But then again, if you've got like a power supply that's shorter with more power, then you can use that instead. And it's got these little standoffs as well, and these are rubber foamy pads, and it gives a standoff very nicely for the power supply, and it looked like it would take a bit of like vibration, but power supplies these days don't really turn unless they need to. It depends on the quality and the money that you've got to obviously get those sort of power supplies. But this is a nice little rectangle like power supply, so it's got a nice little shroud on the side there, the galvanized material, or rough, well, it's like a paint. If this feels pretty rough on the side there. Nice breathable air holes as well for under the power supply. It is pretty decent. I like it. And it's got a nice little cutout hole as well for the EPS connector. We've got cutout holes here, but we have no, we've got no rubber grommets or anything like that on the side. So basically it's just going to be showing all the cables as it would be. But I do technically like this case. I think it's okay. So we need to put a build in this. So yeah, let's get on with the build, and then we'll see you in part 2. Part 2 will probably be the next day, so January, whenever this goes up, January 1st, January 2nd is where I want to have this nicely covered for you guys. But yeah, let's put it together and see how we get on. But anyway, in the links in the description down below is where you'll be able to purchase it when it comes available in January. Subscribe, share, follow me on all social media platforms, and I'll see you guys in the next one, or in part 2. Thanks for watching.